This program is designed and produced by the community with the support of Cogeco TV.
All right, and welcome to the next episode of Our Home with Mayor Sendzik. I'm Walter Sendzik, Mayor of City of St. Catharines. Hope everyone had a wonderful May. The weather couldn't have been better in our community. We had the celebration of opening of Lakeside Park with the opening of the carousel on the May 2-4 weekend, and now we're heading into June. And as we know, summer in Niagara is a very special time, but also we're here today to talk about the art of business and the business of art. And so we have joining us now, Corrina Massicotte, who's the Director of Events and Marketing for the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce. And she will be joined later in the show by Barry Smith, who is a featured artist at an upcoming chamber event called Priceless Art Auction. So we'll be talking about business in the community, and then we'll be talking about the importance of art. So Corrina is a Brock graduate, and it's always great to have a Brock graduate on the program. And she has been with the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce now for
7 years.
I was going to say 7 years, lucky number 7. She is an active volunteer and is the chair of the Program Advisory Committee for the Event Management Program at Niagara College. Corrina is also on the board of directors for the St. Catharines Wing Festival, which will be coming up in August, and also volunteers throughout the year with organizations like Jillian's Place, Hotel du Shaver, and the Grape and Wine Festival here in Niagara. And she was a member of the inaugural Next Niagara panel from 2011 to 2014, and she is also a Top 40 Under 40 winner. So welcome to the show, Corrina.
Thanks so much for having me.
And as a footnote, Corrina and I worked together for a number of years at the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce, and I know Corrina's background in events management. She's got to be one of the best events managers that we have here in the Niagara region. And I say that because of how many events the Chamber does for business. So just give us an overview of the scope of events that the Chamber provides for its membership.
We do over 80 events a year, and we do anything from as small as a lunch and learn seminar with about 20-25 people to our largest event, or larger events like your State of the City with almost 500 people in attendance, our State of the Region with Chair Alan Caslin, and our Niagara Business Achievement Awards, which is actually coming up in June with 400 people. So wide range, got a golf tournament in there, all kinds of events to get people networking.
Which it was great because I think I was talking to Mayor Diodati from Niagara Falls, and over 500 people had attended my State of the City, and I think that's a record for any mayor in Niagara. Is that correct?
I can't say that, but in my tenure at the Chamber, yes, that is a record.
And well, I'm just saying because I think this show is the #1 rated show on Cogeco, and Chatty with Diodati's #2. It's a distant #2, but he's still #2. So it shows the reach of the Chamber in terms of the audience. And yes, Jim, that's a shot at you. So when you look at the kind of the breadth of events, why are events important for the business community? Why are they such an important part of the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce?
The main goal is to get people together and networking and making those connections. So our job is to get those people in the room, and then joining the chamber is really what you get out what you put in. So if you attend a lot of events, make sure you're going around the room, shaking people's hands, getting your name out there, and it's really going to make a difference in your business. So we're getting people together to make those connections.
And I also think the important thing that I've seen is the ability to attract leading thinkers and business and politicians to elected officials to the community. And in your time at the Chamber, what are some of the highlights of people who you've seen that you've brought into the Niagara region to be a part of a dinner or a speaking series?
Well, most recently this year, we had Minister Brad Dogood down. And, having ministers down, getting them in front of business people is really important.
And I think the unique aspect that you bring to it is that you're there as part of the organizer. So you've had the Premier come in, Premier McGuinty, you had Premier Wynne has been in.
That's right.
You've had, you know, when you look at Hazel McCallion has come from the former mayor of Mississauga, and your perspective is always, you're the organizer of the event. So in bringing in something like the Premier, how much work does it take to bring in someone like that with all the detail?
There's a lot of work to be put. That was a strange event. We had about 2 weeks notice that he was coming, and we pretty much had to drop everything and start working with their team. Their team was really great to work with, helping us on all the audiovisual aspects. An event like that really has to be professionally done, so we really have to pay attention to all the details, even down to having the OPP come in and do sweeps before the event and make sure that they're even going into the kitchen and making sure that nothing's wrong with the food and that kind of a thing. And also working with different stakeholders and making sure that the Premier knew who was going to be in the room, and making sure that he went around to the tables to meet all the key stakeholders.
And I think that's the sort of the value add that the Chamber could bring to the community, is attracting speakers like that helps to showcase what businesses are working on. And I think if you could talk just a bit about the important role of advocacy that you take, you have the events plus advocacy, and when you put them together, it presents an opportunity.
So one thing that our Chamber does that sets us apart is that we do have an advocacy component to our Chamber, and what that really is that we are influencing government in a positive way on behalf of business. So, you know, we're working with businesses to find out where the red tape is and helping them cut it and making it easier for businesses to do business.
Right, I think that was the message that was resonating with Minister Dogood a couple months ago here in Niagara, where there was the talk about the red tape with the Fort Erie, the Canadian Motor Speedway, which is a member of the Greater Niagara Chamber, and how he was able to hear firsthand that kind of red tape that's blocking that development. And that wouldn't have happened if we wouldn't have had an opportunity to bring him down.
Bring him down, get the issues right there in front of him, instead of having it go through 10 different people. You know, the business people are there shaking his hand, telling him directly what their issues are, and that really goes a long way.
Okay, so I'm a small business owner now, and I run a retail outlet or a restaurant, or I'm producing small goods. What are some of the other events that would be produced by the GNCC that I would be interested in?
Definitely, I would say Business After 5. Business After 5 is our monthly free event available to all Chamber members. Guests can also come and check us out and see what it's about. We get over 150 in attendance every month, and it also helps showcase a business. A business will host and get people to come to their location, and then you have the opportunity to network with 150 business owners in Niagara.
And so from there, it's showcasing the achievements of business. And so and when you look at the Chamber and its Business After 5s and its Lunch and Learns and its breakfast networking, and then you have the opportunities to hear keynote speakers. The signature event of the year, though, the signature event would be what?
Our Niagara Business Achievement Awards.
Okay, and how come?
Because we're showcasing all the great work that businesses are doing in Niagara. We're really shining a light on them. There's a lot of businesses who like to stay quiet and who are doing great things in Niagara, so we shine a light on them and show people what they're doing.
So what are some of the categories that you would have in the Business Achievement Awards? Because for me, the Business Achievement Awards were always the highlight for me in the year. And they were a highlight because I was able to learn, as the CEO of the Greater Niagara Chamber at the time, I was able to learn about who was doing what, who was leading in their field, and the quiet success stories that, as you said, we don't often hear about. Because I find in today's media environment, we don't necessarily share the positive stories all the time, or we don't give the positive stories in our community the same kind of airtime as we would negative things that are happening. And what I found with the Business Achievement Awards is that it was so much positive energy going on. So what are some of the categories that you'd be acknowledging or recognizing business?
So we have excellence in business for different levels of how many employees that you have. We also have a Young Professional Award, Outstanding New Business, and this year one of the new categories we added was a Tourism Award.
Okay, so how are the nominees selected, and how is the eventual winner selected?
The nominees are selected by the business community. They send in nominations. Businesses can also nominate themselves as well, but it's mostly the business community that will send in the names. And then we have an impartial jury of community members that help us get it down to the finalists.
And another component, so it's always an exciting night because you have the nominees and then the winners are announced. And from our perspective, they're all winners. They're all there at but there could be only one final recipient. But then there's the other aspect of the bestowed awards.
Yes.
So what are those awards?
The bestowed awards are actually chosen by the Chamber and the executive and the board. And those are awards where the Chamber selects 4 people in the year to really shine a light on and really make sure that they want to get to recognize them. Sorry. So we have 4 categories for those awards. This year we have 4 really great recipients. Our Builder of the Year award is going to Phil Ritchie.
Yep.
Our Volunteer Business Person of the Year is, of course, Doug Smith, who does all kinds of work with Wise Guys.
Yep.
Our Community Leader is Dr. Susan Johnson from Niagara Health System. And our Lifetime Achievement Award is Rob Welch, who has built a great business in Niagara and also gives back a lot of his time volunteering as well.
So those are 4 well-worthy recipients of the bestowed awards.
Yes.
And so that evening it'll be a celebration of business excellence in our community and also saying thank you and celebrating the success of those 4 individuals in our community as well. So it sounds like a wonderful evening. What's the date of it?
June 23rd.
Yep.
It's going to be at the Holiday Inn and Suites Conference Center in St. Catharines.
Yep. And the general public can go?
General public is more than welcome. We would love to have everyone out to help us celebrate not only our bestowed awards, but the 40 finalists as well.
And that'd be, so if the public can find out through the www.gncc.ca?
Yep.
Okay, so I still got it. I still remember the URL for that. And after the break, we're going to be talking about a special event that you were one of the architects of and that you came up with the concept and worked really hard on. And I think it's an important event that takes and marries business and art. And we're going to hear more about it from Barry Smith and yourself. So after the break, I want you to tune back in, and we're going to be hearing more about the Chamber, an exciting event that's coming up quickly for young professionals in our community, and also how business and art go together. All right, and welcome back to Our Home with Mayor Sendzik. And we are joined by Corrina Massicotte from the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce, who has been talking about events at the Chamber and all the value adds that they bring to the business community here in Niagara. And we are now joined by Barry Smith, who is an artist that will be featured in the upcoming Priceless Art Auction that is being held on July 14th at Jackson Triggs Winery. It's the 3rd year of Priceless. Before we get to the event, and Corrina's chomping at the bit to talk about Priceless, I want to talk a bit about the artist. And Barry was born in Scotland and now lives and was raised in Niagara. He's always had a flair for humor and wit, as you will soon see through the interview. He uses this for a lot of his photo titles. Without any formal training, Barry has found his own unique photography style using natural light. The photography has come to life like a fresh painting on a canvas. The St. Catharines Art Award nominee, which is also coming up soon. He is a past Art Award nominee for St. Catharines. Barry's pictures can be found on display throughout Niagara at various art shows and galleries. Barry has been focusing on a homeless series in Niagara and has raised over $300 from sales of one of his canvases. He also has a canvas called Support, displayed at Mate Cafe and Shannon Passero's, which gives 100% money to the sales of the artwork to the Canadian Red Cross for Fort Mac. So clearly, giving back is something in Barry and what he does through his artwork. So Over to what would be my left, maybe the viewer's right, and I'm not going to go back right and left. I'm just going to ask you to look at the painting or the artwork behind me. So Barry, talk a bit about how you capture images and what inspires you in the artwork that you do.
There's always a framing and an ironic title going on in my head, and a lot of the times if I'm driving a vehicle or something, they're lost forever. It's colors capture my eye, contrasts, and I try and get an angle that is not seen by most. Something that you wouldn't normally look at, maybe a rotting flower, or maybe a building that's just not going to be there anymore. So
talk a bit about the image. Now, I believe this is the image that's been selected for the Priceless Art Auction.
This year's, yeah.
So what was the appeal of this image? And for those viewers at home, as you can see on the screen, you've got rowers in the background. So talk a bit about the image.
This was in Port Dalhousie, in St. Catharines. This was the very first day, I believe, that the local rowers were allowed back on the course again after the Pan Am Games last year.
Wow. And so is that a dusk image?
This is sunset, yes. I was just on my way to the food trucks down in Lakeside Park.
So you know exactly the date of it? So it would have been a Tuesday night, and you were going in there after the Pan Am was finished. And so why would you select this one to put into the art auction?
It's one of those rare photographs. It's a small series, so whether you're paying, with volunteer time or money, this kind of art is still an investment, and it's local as well. And I think a lot of people appreciate that.
It's a lovely piece. You've done a great job in capturing something that many of us would take for granted on Martindale Pond, seeing this on a regular basis in the summertime, and you've been able to capture it beautifully.
Thank you.
So the importance of Barry being on the show, in addition to being a great artist in Niagara, is also his participation in the Priceless Art Auction. So, as a creator of the event, Corrina, take us through why this is a unique event in Niagara for young professionals.
So this event is the art auction for the emerging generation, where you bid with your time, not your dime. So it's silent auction format, and you bid on the artwork with your volunteer hours instead of money. So a lot of young professionals don't really have the budget to be purchasing art quite yet. So it's a way for them to get in touch with the art community and also give back at the same time.
So is there a benefit to the artist?
So the artists will get their work showcased to the attendees at the event. And then also we put the artwork up on our Priceless website, which is being built right now, and of course through social media as well.
And the artists are also paid for their artwork?
They are.
So, Corrina, why is it important that the artist is compensated for the artwork?
Because it's work that they've done. They've put a lot of hours into it, and it's beautiful work, and they shouldn't have to donate it, and we really felt that they should get paid and be recognized for the work that they put into it.
So, Barry, from the artist's perspective, having that as part of the Priceless Art Auction, what does that mean to you as an artist?
Just being part of the auction itself, because it's so high quality, was enough for me. And I've only been in the business for 5 years now. That was enough. Being paid for the piece was bonus on top of that.
And so when you look at how are artists selected for this? So how many artists are there as part of the Priceless, and how are they selected?
So we have 15 as part of the event, and we got over 40 applications. And we put the call out for art through organizations like Niagara Artist Center, Rodman Hall, that kind of a thing, and they just send in an application with a photo of their piece.
And how many applications did you get?
Over 40.
Over 40?
Yeah.
And so for the people at home looking at Priceless and what it means, it's for young professionals in the community. So do you have to be a member of Next Niagara to attend the event?
Nope, and there's no membership for Next Niagara, and you don't even have to be a chamber member to come to the event. It's open to the public. Everyone's welcome.
Okay, tell us a bit about the event.
So the event will be at Jackson Triggs, and will feature some live art this year being done on display at the event. So that's a new feature.
So what does that mean?
So we'll have an artist actually creating art on site, so you'll be able to watch her do that from start to finish during the event.
That's cool. And it's at Jackson Triggs?
So Jackson Triggs.
And what's the price to, like, so for viewers at home who are thinking that whether they're young professionals or their son or daughters are in the business community, encouraging them to come out and take part in this, what's the cost of attending?
So it's $40 a ticket, and that includes refreshments and some appetizers as well, and the networking opportunities as well. So it's a beautiful evening in the vineyard to come and hang out and meet some other like-minded young professionals.
And so when you look at Priceless Art Auction, it's about having young people come and interact with the artist like Barry, talking and learning about art, and also there's a social side of it. So are the agencies there that people can volunteer with?
There are some. We don't have booth space available for everyone, but there are some on site that have lots of information about different volunteer opportunities that they have. And so you're able to connect with organizations that make sense for you. We don't want people just volunteering where it's not meaningful for them. So we really want to make sure that they make that connection.
And then what happens with the art auction is that when they bid on it, you want them to bid often and bid high, and those are volunteer hours that then go to the organization that they choose, the young professional choose to be a part of if they're the winning bid. And then at the end of the term, at the end of their volunteer hours, then there's an event or there's a celebration of the giving over of the artwork to the young professional. And I've seen that many times, and it's very rewarding. And I really got to say, of all the events that you do, Corrina, what is the one that you're most proud of?
I would have to say this one. This was a brainchild started back with Robin McPherson and myself. It was modeled after an event called Time Raiser that was being done in Toronto at the time that has grown. And we partnered with them, and they helped us set up the framework and supported us for the first year, and then let us go for the second, and it's just been growing every year. I'm really proud of it.
Well, I can say it's one of my favorite events as someone who appreciates both business and art, and I encourage people to look into the July 17th Priceless Art Auction, as well as Barry has an exhibit on right now, and it's at Shannon Passero's, and it runs through July 27th. So that is in Thorold at the post office, 18th Front Street in Thorold, downtown Thorold. So again, if you like what you see here, this will be at the auction item for the Priceless event, so it'll go to a young professional, but there's other work that Barry has on display at Shannon Passero's. And is there a way other people can see your artwork online?
Absolutely. You can come to my website, www.bsquaredphotography.ca.
All right, B Squared Photography. So I want to thank both of you for coming in today to be on Our Home with Mayor Sendzik. I think the work that you're doing in the art community and in the business community is very valuable, and we all appreciate it. So that wraps up this episode of Our Home with Mayor Sendzik. And just to reiterate, the State of the City was the most attended event in Niagara for a mayor. And I'm just giving a shout out to Mayor Diodati. Maybe next year you'll have more people. But for those of you at home, stay tuned for our next episode, which will be coming up at the end of June, and I want you to have a great time. And don't forget to use the hashtag OurHome, STC, because I always get that wrong, STC. Take photos, beaches, parks, your kids playing in the sports fields, baseball diamonds, share them with our community, and have a safe summer. Take care.